Get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm raising the clock. Even in my feelings, grind don't stop. Got big dreams, want big rocks. I got plans, you got talk. Heard it's real cheap, but it's really gon' cost. I'm trying to get these ends, building empires with my friends. I'm about handling my business.
TV. Everything I say in this video is alleged. It is in my opinion, and it is for entertainment purposes only. Hello, YouTube family. It's DMarie TV. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the video, you guys. I'm new to YouTube. Every like and subscribe that I get, it helps me get higher in the algorithm. And I always forget to ask you guys in the front of the video, and I wait till the end and I miss it. So would you please do me a huge favor and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Here we go. Hey, DMarie TV family. I know this is late. I know. Don't judge me. So I'm reviewing the mid-season finale, season 6, episode 15. This overall is a season finale that takes place at the Black Expo. Lots of interesting scenes because everyone is here together in one room. So the episode was real dynamic. It was a lot going on. And it starts off with Stormy and Marceau. They pick up where they left off last week. And they're continuing the conversation they had last episode, where Marceau comes into the Black Expo and he decides to walk over and ask Stormy for $100 day of the expo. Stormy was very upset about it. I understand where Stormy's coming from. Like, this is something they could have easily discussed, you know, when they were touring the facility, or there could have been a phone call discussion about it. But apparently there was no conversation about dimensions, how much space each vendor was going to have. And they definitely didn't tell Stormy about the $100 until day of. She was pretty upset about that, and she handled it in true Stormy fashion, which is kind of, you know, going off and taking it to where you don't want to see Courtney and all that. I don't know that that was necessary, but she was right in saying, listen, you shouldn't be approaching me about this day of. And Marceau was wrong to do that. It's tacky, basically. Like, they had every opportunity to tell her about that before day of, and she's doing a lot of her own on her. She's spending time out of her day to come there and help support their event, and she has her own shipments that she needs to get delivered from Canvas Beauty, and she's taking time out of her day to help them. So I just think it was inappropriate, you know, but that's how Tisha and Marceau do business. So, but it ended with essentially Marceau telling her he would waive her fee, and Stormy saying she would pay it anyway, and they should donate the fee to someone who needs it, meaning one of the vendors or someone in the community who needs it. And I agree. So I think that they should not have asked her for any money, and Stormy essentially should have not paid it. I mean, if she didn't want to pay it, I wouldn't have paid it. She did way more than what was required of a vendor booth. She made sure that she set up her corner extremely well. And so I just feel like for her to be one of the most well-known vendors there, they should not have asked her for the fee. And in the next scene is with the star of the show, Melody Cherie Rogers, and our favorite brother, Marcus. So they're driving on their way to the Black Expo, and Melody's talking about she has a tour date the following day, so she's not participating in the expo. She's just going to support. And Marcus is asking her about Martell and is he going to be there? And she said that she believed he was going to be there because he participated in all the meetings. And Marcus asked her how she's going to basically interact with Martell, and she just says very simply, I ignore Martell. It's very easy for me to do. I love when Melody is able to attend events with her brother. Marcus, to me, is her support system. And I feel like a lot of times when Melody's around Marceau, Maurice, and Martell, they are constantly putting digs in on her. They're trying to persuade and pressure her to do things she doesn't want to do. And sometimes they come for her in inappropriate manners. And I think that it's wonderful that she has her brother there to protect her, because they never do it to other men. They just do it to the women on the show. And Maurice and Marceau are just do this, do that. They're always trying to get women to do stuff for them. Martell as well. But I think Marceau is very good at trying, or he believes he's very good at persuasion. And so I love the fact that Marcus is here to kind of buff that a bit. And in addition to that, he's always checking Martell, and Martell cannot stand it, but I love watching him check Martell. Not a lot of people do that on this show, but Marcus always checks Martell, and it's great. So it was a short scene, cute, but we love Marcus, we love Melody, so it was good. The next scene is of the Black Expo itself. I feel like editing did a really good job at focusing on Pacific shots to make it seem like it was a ton of people there, but I'm not really sure that I believe that, because they show Letitia going from booth to booth, shaking hands and introducing herself, and when you look past her, it doesn't look crowded at all. So I'm interested to find out, like, how successful was it really? Was it a lot of people who came there? It looks like it was a fairly decent good turnout, but I don't really know how successful it was. I would like to have had some camera shots of the whole venue to see, just how full it was at the time. But overall, it looked like it went, pretty decent for the day. Martell comes in a very tight brown suit in true Martell fashion, and he goes in and he's speaking to one of the vendors who does mentorships, and he's speaking to him about his brother's coming to the Black Expo, and he wants to basically have this man connect with his brother for mentorship. Martell is not a vendor at the event. He went to all the meetings. He was there to tour the facility, but he is not a vendor there. He has no booth set up for his book, for his wine, for anything. And that was very weird to me. Like, if you're a businessman and you want to market your business and there's a Black Expo, you went to all the meetings, why doesn't he have a booth? So I would like to really know what's going on with the Inez wine and with his, business ventures. What's happening? Even the suits, like, what's going on? Why didn't you have a booth? So it's given Martell's using Montez as a storyline. So next you're going to see Marcus and Melody. They come to the Black Expo, and she's excited to, go and participate, buy some products from the local vendors. And then it flips to a scene where Martell is speaking with Maurice, and Maurice is asking him, hey, why don't you have the wine here at the expo? Where's the Inez wine? And Martell saying he didn't want to be selfish. He wanted to give other people opportunities to showcase their wines, because he's done several events in Huntsville. And I thought this was interesting. Maurice, in his confessional, says, when Melody and Martell were together, it's very clear who was essentially doing the marketing, because Melody is a marketing genius, which she is. And then he says that Martell, when you in front of people and you have an opportunity to market your business, you market at the expo. Just market your business. And I thought that was interesting, that you're starting to see some cracks in their relationship, and they're starting to point out the difference in Martell and Melody, and who kind of had ownership over the business responsibilities in the relationship. So I really thought that was an interesting moment, especially when Maurice was the one holding out, saying that he didn't want to do the expo if Melody didn't do the expo, and now we know why. So the Whitlows come on scene, and they're saying hello to everybody. So they're talking to Marceau, Martell, Maurice, and Tiffany. Martell asked Lou, are you speaking today? And Lou's like, I didn't know anything about it. So essentially they did all this and never asked Tiffany or Lou to speak. Lou has his own business, and Tiffany has her own business. So the fact that they didn't ask them to speak is kind of shady. Like, they should have gave everybody an opportunity to speak. They try to say, oh, we didn't give her an opportunity to speak because we thought she was on bed rest, and they didn't want to bother her because she's about to have a baby. But I think, if you all are friends and they're part of your group and they're actually entrepreneurs, I think they should have been invited to participate just like everybody else. But they didn't do that. So the next part of this scene is when Maurice and Marcus see each other. They shake hands, and Marcus basically asks Martell, are you and Melody getting along better? And he said, yeah, it's going in the right direction. He's saying that essentially after 3 years, he would hope that Melody would start to let some of her walls down. And that's an absolute no. She should never let down her boundaries and her, walls when it comes to Martell, because he's a narcissist. And if she lets him down and opens the door, he's going to blow right through it. But Marcus, he looks at Marcus and says, with your support. Marcus is like, support? He looked at him crazy and basically laughed in his face like, what support? Nobody is supporting you, Martell. So that was funny. I thought that was a cute little scene. Kimmy shows up to the Black Expo after radiation treatment. She literally leaves radiation treatment and shows up to the Black Expo. And I mean, in true Kimmy fashion, she does not feel good. She does not feel like being there, but she comes anyway. She's saying that after radiation, she's wore out. There's a scene here with Maurice and Tisha, and he's telling Tisha, oh, she's on the last part of radiation. She's good. She's full of energy. She's not. And so once again, it's Maurice not giving a damn about his wife and Kimmy bending over backwards to do what Maurice wants her to do. So that's how that went. So Melody sees Montez, Martell's brother, and it was an emotional moment for her. She hadn't seen him since they split, and apparently it looks like they had a really good relationship. So she introduced him to her brother Marcus, and she said she didn't want to say that he's her ex-brother-in-law. This is her, her brother-in-law. And so she just really, they both seemed to get emotional at seeing each other. And I thought that was a really touching moment. It really shows that at one point in time in Martell and Melody's relationship, there was a lot of love there, not just between the two of them, but between their families. And it really demonstrates that when, when Martell did what he did, he didn't put a lot of thought into that, because he did not just destroy his immediate family, he destroyed their extended family and those relationships as well. So a lot of damage was done when he stepped out of his marriage. A lot of damage. Then you see Melody on the phone. Not Melody, you see Stormy on the phone. She is in the process of having Courtney do a shipment to New York, and they're under an intense deadline, and then something has gone wrong at the factory, and it looks as if some things were mislabeled. And so she's really stressed out trying to deal with all of that and be at the Black Expo. That's business. So not sure if it got there on time or if they met the deadline, but the labeling error really kind of puts them behind, and they were under a very strict deadline to get this order to New York. So it'd be interesting to see whether or not they met the deadline. But then Stormy is talking with Tiffany, and Tiffany basically is saying that nobody even invited her to speak. And so she's telling Stormy essentially she feels left out. So then they cut to a scene of Maurice, Marceau, and Martell talking, and Maurice asked Martell if Sheree was coming to the event, and Martell basically says Sheree's in California, and he implies that she's visiting another man in California and she's not answering her phone. I just really find it crazy that this show is allowing Martell to use Sheree and Montez as a storyline, and he still gets paid to do absolutely nothing. It's a business expo, and he's not even commenting on the business. So it's a mess. So the next part of the episode is when the panel is about to go on stage. The group is behind a projector screen and they're arguing about who's going to be on the stage. Martell saying he don't want to be up there. He saw Melody sitting in the audience, and if Melody's not on the stage, he doesn't want to be on the stage. Martell is still very uncomfortable being out publicly in a business situation without Melody. And we all know why, because Melody's the brains and the marketing behind all of their business ventures. But, you know, he's going to have to learn how to stand on his own 2 feet. Now comes the panel discussion. And this is very interesting, y'all. Like, it was a lot going on with this panel discussion. My mind was like all over the place because it was very odd, you know. In my opinion, none of the questions or the question that was asked was not answered, and a lot of their answers was fluff. They didn't give any specifics on any answer. It was just kind of your standard, you know, language that you would give in speaking about business. It was very high level, just bland answers. Stormy did answer a question about business, and she was stating that when you're in business, the best thing you can do is solve a problem for people and not focus on money and profits, but focus on answering a problem, and then your business will grow. That is so interesting, knowing what we know about Stormy. Stormy has an F business rating at the Better Business Bureau. She is basically being accused of a pyramid scheme. So she's taking money. This is allegedly. She is placing items for sale online. She takes people's money when they purchase those items. She does not send the product to the customer. She's actually using that money to make the products that she needs to put in the big stores, like the Walmarts and Targets and things like that. And then after that's completed and she gets paid for that, then she ships the product out to the customers. That is the rumor. It's alleged. That's what's going around. So when you look at Better Business Bureau, you see a lot of complaints about people who have not received their product from Stormy. She's moved her warehouse several times. It's just a lot going on with her. So for her to be the person who I think spoke best to business on the panel, but us knowing what's really going on with her, it was just very odd to watch. Maurice never goes into detail about what he does. Ever, 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 ever. You're on a business panel. He never speaks to that. Martell just did not say anything. He's walking around the audience with a microphone asking people questions. And lo and behold, right behind Tiffany and Lou is Carson Blue and her husband. Right and directly behind them. I'm not sure about editing. I'm not sure if more questions were asked, but the question they chose to showcase was Carson's question. And Carson asked the question of Maurice, what do you do when you have bad credit? How do you get started in business when you have bad credit? And he just totally fumbled it. He did a big old switcheroo. He started talking about when he started his business, he had a 400 credit score. That's not what she asked him. She was asking him as a Credit One professional business owner, what do I do if I have very bad credit and I want to start a business? He gave an example of his life. It's just the switcheroos, y'all. The switcheroos is off the chain. And they got Tiffany and Lou sitting in the audience. And another person asked Marceau about venture capitalism. Marceau couldn't even answer the question. He didn't even know what VC was. Tiffany, on the other hand, that's what she does. She has raised over $3.5 million recently for her company. She understands venture capitalism. She is someone who goes out and raises money. So the fact that they did not have her on this panel, they say it was because she was, towards the end of her pregnancy term, and they didn't want to, have her commit to being on the panel, and she could have been in labor. But my thing is this: if those are your friends, and if you have any respect for their careers and their entrepreneurship, you would have invited them. If she had the baby and didn't show, fine. But the opportunity should have been presented to them. I think sometimes Tisha and Marceau and Kimmy and Maurice don't want to do things or don't want to have people next to them because it might show them up. Or they feel like people will start looking at Lou and Tiffany more so than them. I think that's why they left them off. It's just interesting. The panel was very interesting, and it's very revealing as to what's going on. I'm so happy Melody did not go up on that panel. Martell, he can't do it without her. He just cannot do it without her. It may come after a lot of hard work, but right now he's not in a position to do anything without her. She literally carried his ass, and now it shows. She carried that whole group. So, I mean, in my opinion, I've been to some pretty dynamic career expos. So, in my opinion, it was one. You know what I mean? Like, okay. But I guess it's a start. They could get better at it as they continuously do it year over year. If it's something they're really committed to, I would expect that next year it'll be even more amazing. And then the next year after that, it'll be even better. It's baby steps, I guess, but it's the first thing that Tisha's really pulled off. So congratulations, Tisha, girl, you did it. I know she is so proud of herself. So the finals scene is the girls, Tisha, Kimmy, Tiffany, and Stormy are having lunch. And Letitia, boy, listen, she do a little bit and she be acting like she done killed the game. She is funny to me. So she comes in and Stormy is still mad about Marceau asking her for the $100, and rightfully so. So, Tisha comes in expecting everybody to be congratulating her like she just threw an Oscar ceremony or something like that. And really, Tiffany calls it constructive feedback. She was like constructive criticism on it. Tiffany or Stormy did not feel that the expo was a success. They thought it was low budget. It was not very well thought out or planned. They didn't get, any other information that they needed about the expo, like dimensions, how much space they would have, how many vendors would be there. So it was overcrowded. They didn't have a lot of space. They didn't tell them about money that they were going to be charged. And Tiffany was the money that was going to be charged. And Tiffany was not even invited. So, of course, when Stormy starts in on Letitia, she's telling her, it's low budget, it's giving junior prom. Kimmy Hobson, you're being patronizing. Kimmy is always sticking up for Letitia. And I'm like, girl, just mind your damn business. Why are you always hopping in Letitia's fight? Let her defend herself. So Letitia's like, well, I told Marceau that I didn't like it, but also what she should have said is, I told Marceau I didn't like it and I apologize. No, she said, I told Marceau I didn't like it, but I didn't like how you responded either. And Stormy went off about that. She's like, you can't tell me how to respond. I'm coming to your event because you asked me. I was there to walk through. Nobody mentioned money. And then he coming up to me asking me about money. You can't tell him how to respond. And she's like, Tisha says, well, the fact that she was like, oh, you don't want to see Courtney and all that. I didn't think that was appropriate. Tisha. Girl, you always trying to act like you better than you are, and you always trying to act like you just doing the most. That damn Black Expo, girl, was not the bomb, okay? It was not well planned. it was thrown together quickly. I mean, you pulled it off, and you'll get better if you keep doing it year over year, but don't act like you just shut the shit down, because you did not. And so Stormy kind of does what Stormy does. She starts to pop off and get all crazy. And Letitia, actually, she stood up to Stormy and was like, well, you don't know me like that either. And Stormy didn't get up and go all off on her like she did Destiny, but it was, whatever. It was one of the underwhelming scenes of the episode, but they tried to pull it off. They try so hard without Mel, but if Mel is not in the scene, it just don't be given. It does not give. It does not give. If they ever try to have this show without Melody, it will flop 100%, because it's just not what it is. Okay? The next season is supposed to start in September. And from now in September, I fully expect for other things to keep going on and for other, balls to drop. Love and Marriage Huntsville does not stop just because the season's over. The bird will be chirping. Ariana gonna do something. Martell's gonna do something. It's always gonna be something happening. So stay tuned, and I'll be happy to bring it to you guys. Please let me know what you think. You guys, put it in the comments. What did you think about the season finale? What do you think about what's going to happen next season? The clips that they showed. Drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Also, if there's another show that y'all want to review, or a few shows that y'all want to review during the break, drop those in the comments as well. All the good trash TV is on, so listen. I'm here for it. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will be sure to keep you guys posted on any Love and Marriage Huntsville news over the break, and I'll see you later.
Order in the court, me first, you short. All my time been off yours, boss bitches to the floor. It's my time.